Assalamualaikum and good evening to Madam Mahfuzah binti Othman and my fellow students. Today, our group will be presenting about virtual reality in industry factorial industrial training. Our group members consist of myself, Nur HARIZ bin ZOLHANI, Muhammad IKHWAN bin Muhammad ROSDI, Muhammad SYAZWAN bin YUNUS, Muhammad HARITH DANIAL bin Muhammad ZUHAIRI. I will start with definition of virtual reality. Virtual reality is a computer-generated environment with objects and situations that seem genuine is called virtual reality, in short, VR, and it gives the user the impression that they are completely surrounded by the environment. The most basic type of virtual reality is a 3D image that can be interactively explored on a personal computer. Through the use of a virtual reality helmet or headset, this environment is experienced. VR enables us to learn how to conduct heart surgery, immerse ourselves in video game as if we were the ones of the characters, and enhance the effectiveness of sports training to maximize performance. Basically, virtual reality is a world that we can create on our own, which specify the aspects of our needs. For such example is entertainment, for industrial usage, or for training purposes. Next, there are three types of virtual reality. First is non-immersive virtual reality. Non-immersive virtual reality technology creates a virtual world on a computer, but the user is still aware of and in control of their physical surrounding. For examples, a computer games like League of Legends, where we can control the character, but we control in their physical surrounding. Next is a semi-immersive virtual reality. A portion of the experience offered by this kind of VR is based in a virtual setting. For example, when you wear a headset to train for a flight simulation, that is we call semi-immersive virtual reality. And lastly, the fully immersive virtual reality. The simulation experience are the most lifelike in terms of sight, sound, and occasionally even smell. This fully immersive virtual reality is in creation and have been able to be utilized fully. Next is the differences between virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality (VR) is a completely comprehensive, all-encompassing artificial experience that hides the real world. And on the other hand, augmented reality, the real world is seen directly through a device like a camera to create a visual, and computer-generated inputs like still images, music, or video are added to that vision. Now, I will hand over to my group mates, Muhammad HARITH DANIAL.
Okay, next I would like to continue with application of VR in enterprise stream. There are 6 application of VR. Number 1 is requirement and onboarding. Number 2 is emergency preparedness training. Number 3 is general safety training. Number 4 is team training. Number 5 is hazard awareness trainings, and number 6 is marketing and sales training.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Muhammad IKHWAN bin Muhammad ROSDI, and my number matric is 20229775 and 61. I would like to talk about the advantages of using VR industry training. There's a lot of advantages to tell you about, but I will tell you quite a lot of advantages using VR industry training. The first one is reduced training costs. Manufacturing training comes with large costs. Large cost of training new employee will decrease the company income. The big company needs a lot of workers and they need to be trained to increase their productivity. If company want to increase their product, it will need to start from inside because more skill that workers have, the more product will be produced. Thus, to increase the productivity of one company, the company need to focus on instructor and cost workers. Train using VR in training to reduce the cost of physical materials. It is because it has a lot of term benefit that cannot be overlooked, even though that its initial cost may be higher than that of conventional L&D technologies. At a fraction of expense, thousands of employees can be transported everywhere in the world by using VR to communicate a brand story. Future application VR content include continuous and future brand training, on-demand learning, customer involvement, shareable movies, and more. The cost of VR will also decline as customer demand and VR competitors rise, just like with any other more recent technology. Second one is cost of instructor. Traditional training method demand use of knowledgeable and skilled instructor. However, you will lose critical personnel from production line as key staff devote the time to train new hires. In manufacturing environment, typical trainer to train ratio is 2 to 1. 2 engineers are required to teach 1 employee, 1 to educate, manage and learning season, and the other 1 helps set up the equipment and supply. VR training allows you to teach employees at their own place with little engagement from the workers, from the instructor, allowing to better allocated resources to manufacturing tasks, reduce training time. Next is cost of workers. Another element to consider in how long it takes new employees to reach their full working ability. In essence, new employees cannot add value to a company until they have completed their training. The more time the corporation spends on training, the more money is spent. Company needs to put more money on workers to travel to their main big company. For example, Intel will send their new workers to their main company in Ireland to get train them until they reach a new height. Skilled workers. With VR, workers can train themselves at their place, and with VR in industry, the cost of travel can be minimized. Second, no material spent. Manufacturers should use physical materials to prepare the personnel for actual production workflow while using traditional on-site training. After they have been utilized, certain materials cannot be reused, resulting in significant cost. This issue is particularly acute in industrial factories that deal with high-cost consumables, such as composite material in the aerospace industry. Purchase of the new materials also can put more weight and high in cost and will decrease income of the company. The material that cannot be reused, certainly used by the workers to train the skill cannot reuse because of the loss of value and a broken item. Factory that produce danger or hazard product needs to use a lot of material to train the workers. The workers that currently have low skill need a lot of time to master it, and it will cost more material to use. More material that cannot be reused will be thrown away, so to buy back the new material to train them will increase the company's cost. With VR, workers can use VR to train their skill until the manager or the leader satisfied with worker skill, and VR can be reused by other workers to train, so the cost will decrease and income will increase. Purchase of the new material. If company needs to produce more product, they need to have more workers. The more workers that needed, more new material need to buy for their train. Lack of material will affect the training of the new workers. With VR, VR workers can reuse the material in VR world because the material in VR world can be reused by other workers. VR in industry doesn't need to use a real material to train the new employees. The cost to buy the new material can be reduced and the money for buying new materials can be put on increasing company technology to be more productive. Production pipelines that are simulated in VR do not require the use of real materials and can greatly cut the costs associated with those resources. Use manage virtual resources while real-world resources are used for production. The next one is increased safety. VR industrial training exactly are frequently expose manufacturing workers to high-risk situation environment. Then, VR simulations offer training opportunities without endangering inexperienced employees or other people that depend on them. For example, as a result, new workers are considerably more prepared to operate with actual equipment by the time they get their hand on it. Increased safety, reduced training costs, and material benefit alone justify the implementation of VR training for most manufacturers. There is a cost for the fact that 82% of business claim that the advantage of employing VR greatly outweigh their expectation. We will discuss the cost effectiveness of VR training. It is hidden advantage that significantly rise training quality and how VR simulation helps business remain competitive in manufacturing environment that is undergoing rapid change in the parts that follow. Safety training could often lead to unwanted injuries. Learning on job is frequently not an option while performing high technical and precise activity, working in a hazardous location or performing duties requiring high level of technical precision. And then when virtual reality advantage are most useful, practice-based training can be carried out in risk-free setting thanks to the realistic application of work-based circumstance in the future world. That's all. Thank you from me.
Thank you, Muhammad Ikhwan, and I would like to continue the presentation with the last one of advantage. The last of advantage is dynamic tooltips. Dynamic tooltip is the connection between theory and practical application form fast, ensuring a stronger mental link between theory and practice. Dynamic tooltip is the one of the most usually applied training techniques. It is because tooltips can only show in the context of real-world tasks when operators need them the most. The second one is tooltips can be used to direct staff, supply them with tasks or supplement their practical experience with theory. The dynamic tooltip can design to your expectation with specification using a dynamic tooltip system. Either an item in the 3D world space or a drawing on the GUI can have a tooltip show on it. Due to line-based nature of the dynamic tooltip system, you receive two lists, one for the left and one for the right sides of the tooltips. You are free to add as many lines as you like. Distribute present on every line, text, font style and color. Read the README files and refer to the explanation graphic for more information and direction. The last one, dynamic tooltips is useful for technicians who have received some training but still lack experience and might use some virtual aid while working alone or for a client getting accustomed to new features and good. Dynamic tooltip is being used in VR training, and it is one of the most popular methods of teaching, whether for clients or staff, is the using tooltips. A better mental connection between theory and application is ensured by linking the two. This is especially useful for technicians who have received some training but still lack experience and might use some virtual and while working alone, or for the clients getting accustomed to new features and goals.
VR is a fragment market. The market of virtual reality is still in the infancy. VR equipment is still expensive. Since the cost is still high to use, VR for industry training is incredibly inappropriate. This is because it will be very expensive to train employees to use VR, making this use in the industry inappropriate right now. Content created for one platform typically cannot function on another platform because VR standard in industry are still in the early stage of adoption. The risk of damage increase with prolonged VR use. There are many things that can harm virtual reality, including noisy using who can damage it easily. Issue with the VR system too. This is because yearly VR using result in the number of issues, including bus error and another issue. The industry must invest a significant sum of money to fix VR equipment in order to address this issue. VR is frequently isolating. Virtual reality has the issue of often being the solitary individual experience. This is because extended using of VR will lend it to transfer you to separate world, a world that is isolated from your exciting surrounding. Indirectly, the user will be distant themselves from the socializing. The next drawback is an uneven training between reality and virtual reality. This is because training in reality is more effective more than virtual reality. The use of VR will not expand the genuine scenario. This is because trainers who utilize VR tool will experience the true scenario while utilizing the tool in the business. Demo in VR are slow. The different auxiliary device requirement for the VR gadget to function flawlessly. The user won't be able to use VR if there an issue with the accessory. It takes time to set up the headset, install it, configuration it to talk the control with the user, and they let them watch the material. We are using a sluggish since there are many students utilize it at once. To utilize VR effectively, students need to use headset, VR gloves, and another accessory. Many need technical update. Virtual reality training has many disadvantages, one of which is that there are many need to be updated often. You need to upgrade your hardware, software, and accessory in order to keep your application current. The issue with using virtual reality is that current system upgrade exacerbate issues and failures. This is due to the fact that current update not only introduce new issue into the virtual reality system itself, rating that fixing the current ones.
Thank you, Muhammad Syazwan. I will continue for this disadvantage. The disadvantage in VR industrial training. The disadvantage is about physical side effects. Some people who experience virtual reality could have a negative body impacts, such as eye strains, nausea, and headaches, or typical issue when using VR. It's because you must make sure that your VR training is secure by planning the course material and developing alternative formats. The secret to avoiding motion sickness is the manner the material is made. Never more virtual reality if they are not moving physically. In this method, the neural disconnect, those result in motion sickness, may be avoided. Although motion sickness cannot entirely be eliminated, employing alternative format allows employees to participate in training without donning a headset. The next one is the prolonged usage of VR might lead to cyber sickness. The physical effects of virtual reality on trainees such as bewilderment while utilizing virtual reality's main drawback in the field. This is due to the fact that instructors who utilize VR often will get confused in real-world circumstances. It's due that trainers' inability to sense the touch and feel of the instrument used in the profession. Last but not least, the figure shows the negative effects of VR that can lead to the physical pain. This is because the incompatibility problems with the virtual reality that hinder its widespread implementation. For consumers to fully enjoy the immersive material, virtual reality headset need to be compatible with their computer or smartphone. However, this is a lot of uncertainty among industry giants at this early stage of technological development. The Daydream View virtual reality headset, which was introduced by Google for a few years ago and is integrated into the Android speaking operating system. The only thing stopping this virtual reality headset from becoming widely used were the compatibility problem, despite the fact that it was capable of pushing the mass adoption rate. In addition, there are safety issues with the adverse consequences of VR technology. That's from me, thank you.
We have reached the end of our presentation. In conclusion, VR can undoubtedly be utilized in a wide range of situations to train people and enhance their performance in areas that they encounter in real life. It offers a more economical and perhaps more stimulating platform. Furthermore, it is possible to gather extensive data on a user's behavior, which helps in improving both what is learned and how it is learned. Understanding what is examined when training in VR, such as improvement of handling complicated or hazardous hardware. This information can also be used to guide the improvement of the training programs themselves, Nevertheless, there are several drawbacks from using VR in industrial training. However, these disadvantages can be overcome by improving the VR products and marketing for future exposure. In the end, there are a wide range of potential applications for VR training and performance enhancement. Only what actually occurs in the real world can limit the possibilities. Thank you.